Now on the programme, it's time for today's Perspective. And a major international conference for peace is being held at Paris's City Hall today. The Cities for Peace initiative aims to bring together Israeli and Palestinian peace activists alongside mayors and key figures as well from North Africa, the Middle East and right around the world. Now their aim as well is to highlight concrete solutions and to dedicate a special focus as well to the role of women in resolving conflict. It's organised by the City of Paris and the French association Les Guerrières de la Paix, or the Warriors of Peace, which has been nominated for the 2025 Nobel Peace Prize. Joining us here on set today is Itamar Avneri, who's founding member of the Israeli grassroots movement Standing Together. Great to have you with us on the programme.
Thank you for having me.
Tell us first of all about Standing Together. It's a group that we've featured on here on France 24, trying to get aid into Gaza. Tell us a bit more about what the organisation is.
So Standing Together is the biggest joint movement of Jewish and Palestinian citizens of Israel. We founded 10 years ago in the late 2015, and since then we are fighting for ending the occupation, achieving a just Israeli-Palestinian peace, and also for equality inside Israel. In the last year and a half, of course, we are leading the movement, we are leading the struggle to stop this war, to achieve a hostage deal, and then, again, to end the occupation and achieve an Israeli-Palestinian peace, because we must prevent also the next war.
How difficult is that to do at the moment in Israel? Obviously, you have a lot of supporters, but also a lot of people who are very against some of the things you're doing.
So, yeah, of course, it's hard, and there's a lot of criticism, but you know what? Sometimes people are telling us that we are the minority. But actually, it's the Israeli government that's in the minority right now. Overwhelming majority of the Israeli Jewish society supports ending this war. Overwhelming majority inside Israeli society says that they are not going to vote for this government. So it is hard, and we are fighting against very powerful forces in our government, but the public understand that something has to change, and that gives us hope.
Another hope, of course, came a couple of months ago when some of the hostages were released. At the moment, that seems quite a long way off that we're going to see any of the others. How difficult is it trying to work with that hanging over people as well?
Well, you know, when the Israeli government collapsed the deal, and it didn't just collapse, the Israeli government collapsed that deal, our hearts were broken. And since then, the news from Gaza, and it must be said, are horrible. We're waking up every morning to hear about another bombing, another children that died in those bombings. Those children are innocent. People of Gaza are innocent. And of course, it's very frightening right now. But again, the Israeli people is going to the streets. We are marching in the streets each and every day, especially in the weekends, but each and every day in all the cities around Israel. And that, again, that gives us hope. So sometimes when you wake up in the morning, you don't really want to go out of bed, but then you do go out of bed and into the streets with a lot of other people.
You're here in Paris for this Cities of Peace initiative. Tell us about it and what you hope to get out of it.
So we are here first and foremost to find allies. You know, we have no delusions. We know that the only people who can really end this war and save the people in Palestine and Israel, it's us. It's the Israeli people and the Palestinian people. No one is going to save us from the outside. But we do need allies. We do think that the international community has a role, and that's why we are here. And we are especially here because we have a message. It feels like that people all around the world feel like they have to pick a side. And you know what? We want you to pick a side. But we want you to understand what the sides really are. Don't be confused. The sides are not all Israelis with Benjamin Netanyahu and his right-wing fascist government against all Palestinians with Hamas. Those are not the sides. The Israeli government wants you to think that's the sides. Hamas wants you to think those are the sides. Those are not the sides. The real sides are the warmongers on one side, the Israeli government, Hamas. They're not working together, but they are feeding from one another. And Benjamin Netanyahu told us long ago that Hamas is an asset. And though they are in one side, and the other side is the people, Palestinian people right now, of course, in Gaza and in the West Bank, but also in Israel, Palestinian and Jewish people who has the same interest, and that's the interest of peace.
Why do people not understand that, do you think, outside the country?
I can't really answer that because, you know, we came here to Paris, but our work is inside Israel. It seems to me that the media is not really telling the whole story. it seems to me that leaders around the world are betraying the cause and choosing the wrong sides. And that's why also people do not understand that. And that's why we are here to change the narrative.
And do you think those disagreements can be overcome?
Absolutely. You know, from the outside, maybe it looks impossible. But if you're looking into surveys in both Palestinian and Israeli societies, even after October 7, majority of the people in both societies said that they would support a two-state solution. So yes, it is possible. There's no lack of solutions. We have a lot of solutions. We have a lot of formulas. It's about political will. And this is what we're trying to do in Standing Together. We are trying to build the majority in Israel that would demand and then achieve an Israeli-Palestinian peace. And this is what you really need to do, to organize people on the ground. And then, yes, we have solutions, absolutely.
I wanted to talk to you about your panel as well. You're particularly focusing, aren't you, on a new generation of activists and getting those people involved and showing how people can live together. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, so, you know, I'm not that young. I'm already 40 years old. But it seems to me that when I grew up, there was some hope on the land. I grew up during the 90s. There were the Oslo Accords. Don't get me right, they were far from perfect, but still there was some hope for Israelis and Palestinians that things are going to change. But then, from the year 2000 and on, our leaders started to tell us that there is no solution. Benjamin Netanyahu actually told us 10 years ago that we are going to live in a perpetual war. So their generation completely disappointed us. And we have to build this new generation. We have to build and found those new leaders that would say, no, we do not agree to live in a perpetual war. We do not agree that you'll sell our future, you know, and just promise us bloodshed and massacre and war one after another. And this is what we are trying to do also right now. Right now in Israel, there's a seminar of students with dozens of students, both Palestinians and Jewish, and they are the next leadership of the peace camp in Israel, and hopefully they are also the leadership, the next leadership of the whole land.
You're also aiming to aim very specifically at women as well, trying to get women more involved in the campaign.
Yeah, so, you know, very obviously, I'm not a woman, but the male leaders on both sides, must be said, completely disappointed us. And I think it's time for a new perspective. And it's very clear that women, when they take charge, when they are responsible, when they, you know, ran for office and starting to lead the policies, things can change for the better. And I must say that I really thank Anne Hidalgo, the mayor of Paris, that she's doing this kind of conference. And maybe it's not a coincidence that she's doing this conference and not another mayor in France or around the world who's a male.
Good to talk to you on the programme. Thank
you very much for
coming in. Itamar Avneri from Standing Together, part of that Cities for Peace initiative happening today here in Paris. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.